All right, welcome back to the Remedial Film Class Podcast. I'm your host, Dan.
And I'm Travis.
And I'm George.
And we are right in the thick of the 80s as we continue our spring OUTBreak series. George, tonight you are watching Day of the Dead. What do you think?
I think some of the zombies were still blue.
Yes, they were.
Dappa
This
Deepa
is a
to
sequel
die?
of a sequel of a sequel of a sequel.
Some of them were about to get married, unfortunately. And some of them were performing as a clown when they died. It's very unfortunate.
Sure, it wasn't a mime.
No, it was a clown.
It was a clown.
For sure.
So I take it you've
I
already
noticed.
watched the film.
Yeah.
It's a classic from 1985, which is a pretty good year if you're
One
a
of the best.
Royals fan or a zombie movie fan,
Bears fan.
Friday the 13th fan, and not a huge stickler about the whole Jason thing. Yeah.
1985.
If you like bowling for soup, it's a good year.
So when we got onto this track, we watched Night of the Living Dead. You didn't love it. We kind of razzed you about it. We watched Dawn of the Dead. You liked it more. Travis didn't. We razzed him about it.
What was wrong with him?
Nobody
know.
razzed
cranky
anybody
pants.
about Zombie because Troy was here and we didn't want to appear feeble.
That's true.
But now it's just us, unsupervised. Who's getting razzed tonight?
I think Dan is.
What?
I don't know.
What, guys?
I mean, it might be me. I mean, I'm not like head over heels for this movie, but like, there's parts of it that I liked.
What were the parts that you liked? Because I know the ones you didn't like. I could just tell.
The parts that I liked.
Like what was it
I
about this one that
liked-
you would watch again for?
I liked the doctor.
Mhm.
Frankenstein, they called him. I
Lo-
liked
Dr.
what he
Logan.
was doing. I enjoyed that. I liked Bub.
Love Bub.
I mean, Bub is like, I love that they and I never knew it when I watched Shaun of the Dead before, but I love how Shaun of the Dead like nods to Bub
A lot.
because that's just like,
Yeah.
spoiler alert. That's what they do with all the zombies. They tame them,
Yeah.
And
And the mannerisms of Bub is like a lot of what Sean does when he's pretending, like in the
Mhm.
very beginning when he's pretending to be a
Yes.
zombie.
yes.
Very Bub-like.
I liked how the zombies didn't use tools except for Bub, who was being exposed to all these things, and the doctor was like jogging his memory and
Yeah, he's like Coco the gorilla.
and all that stuff, and they kind of developed that part of the story from the last one where like the memories are still in there.
Mhm.
They know they want to go to the shopping mall, but they don't know why.
Right.
You know what I mean? They kind of develop that a little bit more.
But this one has more of a sentimental. It's not the commentary so much as the humanity of it. Like it was done much better. Saying, okay, their memories in their head, not routines or whatever it is in the last movie, where it was almost like a commentary on human beings, how zombie-like we are. This was more like,
Well, I like that message too.
I
but-
do as well, but I didn't want to hear that again. They
Mhm.
tackled a different part of it.
Yeah.
Like in the end, when you look at it, Bub's like the most human
Yeah.
character.
You're kind of like, yeah, Bub, go
Yeah,
Bub.
go Bub. I want to see him walk into the sunset.
That'd be funny if they took him with them on the chopper.
Well, he was very Frankensteinish. That's what
Yeah.
I liked about him.
Hey guys, can we just make a promise that this is a safe space?
A safe space?
I mean, we're all
Yeah,
friends here,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
did we say something wrong?
I don't like this movie.
I
We're
told
going to
you.
razz him.
We're gonna razz.
Yes.
It's too
Then why'd you
slow,
pick it?
man. Well, it's important,
Nah.
kind of.
Right.
I don't know. It's important because Greg Nicotero. Like, if he wasn't involved in this, I would be like, yeah, we can skip that one. The gore is awesome. It's brutal as hell. But the story is just... I think, Dawn of the Dead is too ambitious for its budget. This movie is more ambitious by tenfold. And so what they wanted, I think, would have been really cool, and then they didn't have any money, and so it's mostly just guys in like army surplus gear underground.
Mm-hmm.
Slow. I don't know. I don't love this movie.
I didn't think it was slow.
What I liked about it, and I think that's why George and I like it more than Dan, is because it's the closest to The Walking Dead out of the three. Not quality-wise, but like Dan said, Greg Nicotero is Savini's assistant.
Mm-hmm.
You see a lot of Walking Dead shtick, a lot of the way they kill, the way they pull them apart, everything's in your face, they're in your face.
I was surprised at the amount of gore
in
the movie.
There's one where he's pulling the guy's face off and his eyeballs like bugging out.
That part's
they just
awesome.
totally, they went there.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a lot of isms or tropes or new things that become tropes from this movie that make their way to the show. The cutting off the arm.
Yes.
Save them from the infection by amputation.
Yep.
The military morons, the head cases.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically the Shanes.
Yep.
They're more dangerous than the monsters because they're uncontrollable.
Yeah.
The scientists. There's a couple characters in the show where they start experimenting on these things and they start trying to figure out, okay, how do we get these things to not be zombies? And it kind of plays not so much on the let's figure them out because we want to tame them, but it's more like I want to save people I love who are already turned. Let me figure out how to save the one I love by experimenting on this absolute nobody.
Right.
So there's a lot of things in that stick. Was it done well? No.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great.
No.
I kept having to remind myself, like, it's 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I would out of the three I've heard this is the one you didn't have to watch, but after watching all three, I actually like this one better than Dawn, for reasons that other people probably don't care. It just, to me, it speaks to me more. The other one was too comical. It was too silly.
Yeah.
It was way too silly. At least this one took itself
Too seriously.
to a point where too seriously. Yes.
There's just no fun. Like, I don't like any
Well,
of these characters. I don't care if they survive.
None of them are likable.
Just nuke
You're
them
right.
all. I don't
Except
care.
for Bub.
Eh.
Bub's likable.
Bub was likable.
Eh?
So was the pilot. What was his name?
Flyboy.
Yeah.
My
the new Flyboy.
My issue with the pilot was the accent.
Yeah.
They made a choice to have the Caribbean accent because they want to kind of tie it into the whole voodoo, islander lore. But you couldn't understand them a few times. Like, I'm just like, wait, what did he just say?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you on that. I liked his.
But I liked
his character's mentality though.
Yeah.
Like, what are you? Like, when he's talking to what's her name, Sarah, right? What are you trying to do? Like, you're just trying to like create another file to be left down here. Like,
what's your purpose?
Yeah. Like, and he tells her straight up, like, when they're having that conversation when she decides to get drunk, speak your mind. It's easier to speak your mind than to hold it in, And he speaks his mind too, and they like kind of like bond over that. Like, they totally disagree with each other. Like, but it is easier to just speak your mind,
Yeah.
I liked that they with the scientists, the two different philosophies, where obviously Sarah's philosophy was to figure out what was causing it so you could cure it or figure out how to reverse it or whatever. And, Frankenstein was just like, we're going to have to live with this, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's live with it.
Let's
let's figure out what we can do, like, and, those are the two philosophies, right? There's only so much you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually some of the things that Dan has watched in his life and made us watch, I'm surprised that he doesn't like this. Because
oh my God, this is Spielberg.
This is
compared
Spielberg
to
compared to some of that shit we have already watched. Definitely.
I don't think it's a quality issue. I mean, Romero makes a competent movie that I can watch from beginning to end, and I can follow the plot, and the character motivations are sometimes too clear. You know,
They are
that,
on the nose
that
for
part's
They
sure.
are
fine.
on the news. Mhm.
And I can deal with that. I think my issue is it has really great gore, and the rest of it just can't live up to the gore, right?
I think the story is there, but it's not. The reason why I don't even think I'm a fan of George Romero is because, I mean, that's wrong to say. I mean, I thank you for your contributions, but
A lot of great stuff has come from it.
there was a quarterback in New England before Tom Brady who played quarterback and probably played pretty well. Not as good, but Tom Brady comes in and becomes an icon. People have taken what Romero has done, the foundation, and have done it so much better.
They've Brady'd it.
Yo, they cheated the hell
rated it.
out of it too.
Yeah,
Deflated
they
the
took
balls,
deflated the balls.
videotaped the other defenses.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever you
whatever.
got to do.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's awesome to see Greg Nicotero in this movie and understand why he's where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the basis of this entire
He's
outbreak, is to go from Night of the Living Dead to Walking Dead and see how it got there. And we are doing that.
definitely.
And that's why we had to watch this one. Even though I don't watch this one regularly, I'm just not in love with it. And I don't know. I mean, you know, she's pretty. She smells nice. Her personality's great. But I'm just not feeling the love.
I hear you.
You know who she reminded me of?
Who, George?
He's not talking about the girl in the movie. He's saying the movie is she.
Oh.
But
you,
yeah.
know you know who Sarah reminded me
Oh,
of?
okay.
Who?
Yeah, okay, sure. Who?
Leia.
Princess Leia?
Yeah.
Oh.
Princess Leia.
I don't know.
Have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, dude.
You are a little
she-
short to be a stormtrooper.
She reminds me of Sarah Connor, if anything. She's kind of tough, but not like
Yeah, but
out and out tough. Like Sarah
she
Connor in
seems
Terminator
soft.
1.
Terminator 1, Sarah Connor, yes.
Not Terminator 2, like
No.
bruising tough lady. No.
No, not doing chin-ups on the bed frame.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe it was the look of her. You know, like
She
you know, like
seems
with her
kinda-
hair kind of up. I was like, why isn't the hair over her ears like it's supposed to be? I don't know. And also, like Leia was a badass. You know, like
Yeah.
Leia was a rebel.
I don't think she was developed enough, though, to have that iconic comparison. Like, out of the movie, I think she's the least developed character.
This movie
Yeah.
or Star Wars?
This movie. Like, she kind of just... They don't tell us where she came from, really, technically. She's just a doctor. Like, there wasn't any background to her.
But
All of a
she's
sudden-
strong though.
Yeah.
She's like the strongest of all of them.
Yeah. I think Mr. Bean with a mustache was pretty strong.
He was pretty strong.
So hold on. What was the mission of this group? Can anybody remind me?
I think the mission was the doctors. It's kind of like the CDC in Walking Dead.
Yeah.
The doctor's job was to originally probably to figure out a cure. The military was there to protect them because it's a military facility. They're probably government scientists, so they have military guidance. And then I think their guidance kind of fell off over time. They established that by having the people in charge dying off, and then you're left with Screamerman.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, could his eyes get any wider? I thought I was watching.
I think he was on cocaine.
Yeah. You know who he reminded me of? The younger brother from Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Yes.
Garbage
eyebrows.
Day.
Garbage Day. That's who he reminded me of.
I think there was a comedian, Dennis Wolfberg. That's who he reminded me of. Look him up.
I'll
his,
have to.
his George Burns punctuation on jokes was to make his eyes really wide and squint. Like, and I'm like, what is wrong with this guy in this movie? Like, he's at 11 all the time, but everything he's doing is not worth listening to. So.
Again, kind of like the plot. Like the character is so on the nose. It's like
yeah, but they were all
there's
that
no
way.
complexity to it. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. They were all that way. They were. I wrote my notes, acting 101, because just like in advertising, if you accent everything,
You
the
accent
reader
nothing.
sees nothing.
You're right.
So in acting, it's the same way. You know, you're taught to enunciate and punctuate and go through your script and underline things and double underline sayings and highlight this, and this is going to be punctuated, this is going to be overdone, underdone, whatever it is you're going to do. These guys are just like, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it's highlighted. We're going to hit every line like we're falling off a building.
Yeah.
And to me, I was just like, wow.
I wish I could do this movie again and just like totally recast it.
I think we should get the cast of Clerks to do this script.
I don't think they'd
No.
take anything to 11. You'd really like that better.
No, you never get 11.
No,
from them.
like Steele should have been played by like John Goodman, right?
I think Bub should have been like Hugh Jackman
Okay.
or Steve Buscemi.
No, Buscemi is the what's his name with a mustache?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Buscemi is the
Mr. Bean with a mustache.
Yeah. Yes.
Dan, since you love this movie so much, you should probably cast it.
It's how can a movie with such awesome, brutal gore just not entertain me for 80% of the movie? Even stuff like Hostel, which is not Academy Award-winning material, it entertains me more for the non-gory parts than the gory parts. And then I watch this and I'm just like, bored, gore, bored, gore. And without the gore, I would have no reason to turn the movie on. Even though
What about the guns?
there's a G3A3 in there, just like in Rambo. I'm like, who brought the G3A3? I don't get it.
Who brought the R2D2?
That's very strange. And for it to happen again, very, very strange. Different caliber of ammunition. It doesn't make any sense. Ay, caramba. But I do like the idea that some of them are just willing to deal with the fact that it's all over, so we might as well enjoy our time while we're here. There's something beautiful about that, and I like that part. And the gore, and I like the scare at the beginning with the hands. That part's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't like the Bub character. What don't you like about him?
I don't know that you've got enough time from the outbreak to get to the point that he can evolve. Now, the time frames aren't super laid out, but if these people are alive without any support, it can't have been years, right? It might have been a year since Night. But I just don't know, given what you see from the zombie A Living Dead in the first two movies, I don't know that you've got sufficient time to establish that much evolution. Or
I never took it as evolution. I just took it as learned behavior.
Yeah,
I mean, you can teach a squirrel to get, pick up a circle with enough electricity. You could teach that squirrel pretty quickly.
Or acorns.
Yeah, but
you can teach a pigeon to like turn around in circles for a piece of bread.
Yeah, so it's more like a pet reward than evolution.
That's what I saw it as,
That's
but also tapping into a brain that's much larger than like a small animal.
Right.
Like a brain that's, they established that like, very old part of the brain that's like more lizard or reptile than anything, is what's like taking over, right? But there's a whole mess of brain that's like still there, and like what the scientist was trying to do is kind of tap into the rest of it. So yeah, if you can teach a pigeon to dance, you can teach a zombie to
the evolution
shave.
Word never popped into my head.
It wasn't really evolution. It was just like, it's conditioning, right? Right, more like a Pavlov situation.
Yeah.
Well, but see, in conditioning, gosh, we're getting deeper than I thought we'd get tonight, guys. This is fun. But in conditioning, you're teaching new behavior with reward, and a lot of what he's doing, the whole 45 part where he, fires the gun and he knows something should happen and he looks at it and he examines it. That's not like learned behavior. That is old brain fighting back through the new lizard brain.
But hasn't that been established throughout the Romero movies?
It has.
That's where they're going.
The memories are in there.
Well,
the zombies in Night of the Living Dead were picking up furniture legs and beating windows.
but they weren't assembling IKEA furniture.
No,
poorly.
but I don't think Bub was
you
doing
know?
that either. I think he just kind of
He pulled the trigger, and then he looked and examined the gun, including pulling the slide back. Like,
well, he was a military guy, so he had a memory of that.
It's
yeah,
muscle memory.
I don't know. It's such a leap from Dawn of the Dead with the guy like, I like this M16, I'm stealing it, I'm looking at it the wrong way. You know, like,
Yeah, but that was
familiarity versus like
Please,
operational.
Don't bring that up again.
I don't know, man.
Bring that movie up again.
No, actually, I like what they did with Bub and the gun much more than they did with the guy with the M16 or the zombie with the M16, just like not knowing what to do with it, because Bub was a military guy.
He looked like he was in a mummers parade. That was my problem with it.
What? The M16 zombie?
Dawn. Yeah. Like, it's just like, what? First of all, what's with the walk? That's the other reason why I like Bub a lot more. He actually must have gone to the Walking Dead zombie school.
Yeah.
20 years prior.
Yeah.
Because he was leaps and bounds above everybody else.
Yeah.
And
well, he had a big part, so they probably coached him.
But
up.
I mean, have them hang out with people and teach them. Like, you still had the frozen Frankensteins walking around, and they're on the same set as Bub.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing way more.
Yeah, they had like some zombies, like this one chick was like holding her shoulder as a zombie. I'm like, why are you doing that? You're a zombie.
When that one military guy, the guy that wound up doing himself in, when they started
John Goodman,
when they started coming in the room, and that's when I noticed how many blue zombies there still were.
Yeah, there's still blue zombies. What did you guys think of all of the variety of zombies that you had?
I don't like that.
Me neither. Not at all.
Not a fan.
Like, why wedding dress zombie? Why?
Yeah, no.
Who dies in their wedding dress? Honestly.
No.
I mean, there's your movie, right? Give me the zombie wedding.
The zombie
the blue wedding, right?
And that's the movie I don't
a blue
watch.
wedding.
And I go, click. I don't think I'm watching Zombie Wedding.
I don't think you guys are going to like Zombie Lake, where they just paint people's faces kind of blue. I don't think you're going to like that one.
I'm okay with that if they look like they're dead.
Oh, no, they just look like they painted their faces blue.
They just look like they're blue. They look like they put their face in the airplane toilet. Like Clark's arm. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't hate it, and I think I didn't because I could see.
See what you're about to say. That's how I felt about Dawn. I didn't hate it because I saw the beginnings of what comes from
the
Dawn.
things that I hated were stuff that, like the acting and this and that. But I didn't mind the story. I like that.
I didn't either.
Mentality of being in a fallout shelter with people that are more dangerous than what you're hiding from. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's
It
just
could have been done better too.
the doctor should
even
have
the
been
story,
better.
like, they should have maybe. I don't know. I guess I'm used to like Walking Dead where these things develop over the course of
time.
seasons, but like, when there's a rift in the group, like that develops over time, and they really kind of get into it. It starts small and it kind of festers and it festers and it festers and it turns into that. In this movie, you come in like right as shit's hitting the fan. Like right as the leader dies and this new guy is a dick.
Right.
Like, and he's about to he doesn't care. Like,
but
he's
you're
gonna kill
able
you.
to do that in one episode.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be a full season of development. Like, you can establish with just a little bit of finesse, a little bit of schooling and storytelling. You could take a guy that no one knows about and establish within 3 or 4 minutes why people hate him.
Yeah.
And why he can't be trusted. And you can do it well. That as long as they're not screaming all the time, you might actually pay attention and understand. But once it was like being in the worst school with the worst teacher with zero patience. That's what it was like watching.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I think that guy, like the new leader guy, the guy with the 2 6-shooters, which were pretty cool, by the way. He would have been really good played by the guy who played the governor.
Okay.
In Walking Dead.
David Morrissey.
He had that kind of, the governor had that kind of insanity
No.
towards the end.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder as that guy. Is it Rickles? I think his name is. Rickles?
No. Rickles is
Fisher.
Is John Goodman's partner.
Oh, shit.
He's
Rhodes.
Rhodes is the guy.
Yeah.
Choke on him. Choke on him.
Yeah, choke on him. That's Rhodes. Yeah, he's eating his legs.
God.
Choke on him. I mean, that's a. But see, that's a, Kirkman totally took that from for his comic book.
Yeah.
There is a scene where that happens, but it's not corny, and it's not that line. He yells "tainted meat" instead of "choke on him," because the cannibals are eating him. So it's like they didn't know that he was already bit, so they're eating his leg.
I remember that.
And he's laughing, and they're like, "What are you laughing at? We're eating your leg." And he's like, "Tainted meat," he tells them. And then they realize, and then they all throw up, and they die. But it's like, that was not a 5-season build-up. That was like,
no, you're right. That was just
that Garrett character, the main cannibal. They were only in it for like a couple episodes, and they developed it very well to the point where you thought he was going to kill everybody. It's possible. Because he's unhinged. They establish, but then he's like Gene Wilder. Like, he's unhinged, but then he has this calm, best friend kind of conversation right before he's about to kill you kind of thing. And it's like, it doesn't take long to do that.
Yeah.
Can I
if you have
jump in here and just point out how difficult it must be to be a cannibal during a zombie outbreak? Talk about competition.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ultimate capitalism.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Like what? Do zombies eat other things like deer and stuff?
Yes.
In certain movies, they do.
Okay.
I don't think you see
I've
them.
never seen a zombie animal, though, other than
like the rabbit from like Monty Python.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think in Resident Evil, they have the zombie Dobermans. But it's never really been a thing where if a deer gets bit, it becomes like the undead deer.
Right.
Never seen that.
Well, no, because it
would be interesting.
It's not common for these types of things.
Well, I guess if you got somebody
species.
who's like scientifically driven in their writing, kind of like a Michael Crichton, that could kind of write that in the story, that because most viruses are jumped from animals to man. So if they could kind of figure out a way that the virus was passed, then they could kind of figure out a way to make animal zombies make sense.
That's not common, though.
Right.
But it happens every once in a while, sure.
Right.
It's not common. And usually when, I'm not a virologist or anything, but when it happens, it usually happens between like this species and one other species. It's not like just like a virus that affects everything,
Right.
Right. So yeah, it would be cool to have like this thing passed from, whatever to, I don't know, insert turkeys.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden we have zombie turkeys,
Well, they kind of
and they come to kill you, and they're like, you just can't.
But only on Thanksgiving.
And only on Thanksgiving. Dan, I think we should reach out to the director of Silent Night, Deadly Night. We got his next movie.
Zombie turkeys. Well, they kind of touch on the swine flu on the show.
Yeah.
And I know a movie we're going to be watching soon, they touch on a different kind of infection. So, I mean, it's if it's well written, it makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
To have animal involvement of some sort. Sure.
Anyways, the reason why I asked that was because, like, if you're a cannibal and you're competing with these zombies for food, I mean, technically, if you're just a person, you're competing with these zombies for food. Unless you're a vegan. And who's a vegan in, post
in the zombie apocalypse, there will be no vegans.
Well, I don't know, man. You might. That's all you got.
Yeah, I don't know.
You might have to go back to picking berries.
I mean, it would be very commendable if you can stick to that diet.
I think you're going to eat whatever the fuck you can find.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this... No, I won't say that. A little salt on that. I could eat that. You know, it's just
Oh,
like,
God, no.
Oh, God. I was trying to think of something as disgusting
You
as
should
like,
keep that in there, but like just bleep what he said.
I don't know. Talk about tainted meat, right?
yeah, right? Yeah, just bleep it because it's a bleep is always funny.
I do
Jimmy
like a
Kimmel
bleep.
established that. I can see the word "the" and you put a bleep in there and it changes everything.
All right, I'll bleep it. Bleep time.
Bleep. And the whole wrangling, that's used a few times in the show. You know, wrangling the dead. Harvesting the dead for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I probably would have hated this movie a lot more if I didn't notice all the things that Greg brought to the show from his early days of doing makeup with Tom Savini.
Yeah.
I mean, literally that part, that gag where they have when he's screaming, you know, choke on him. You know, that's like special effects 101 to put the guy's torso in the ground and then have the fake body.
Mm-hmm.
And they just start pulling him apart. I'm like looking at that. I'm like, that's like been done like 19 times in the show, and it's still new. That movie was what, 85? So we're talking 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And they're still doing that gag today.
Yeah.
And it's still really awesome.
It's just a lot better.
Oh, I don't know if you can get better. Plus, my favorite backstage, behind the scenes story on that is that they didn't do a good job refrigerating the guts they kept using over and over again.
Ugh.
So if you watch that scene again, when they rip him open, everybody has to fight the urge to make a face because it's just unleashing horrible smells upon the cast.
I'm sure. Ugh.
But I think
Ew.
it probably made the acting a little better.
Not really, but yeah.
Beg to differ, but okay.
Sounds good on paper.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think her and Bub were probably the most solid actors in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then a close second would be Flyboy 2.
Ugh. And here's the thing.
The
I don't
sequel.
even mind that they have a pilot. But if you have military people, I don't know if he knew this at the time, but the military has people that fly helicopters too. They could have had one of those.
I wouldn't trust any of those guys to fly anything.
And then just to call him Flyboy again multiple times, I'm just like, guys,
Mm.
we're reusing the best parts of the early movie, but you're doing it worse.
I think there was it's allowed when it's written and directed by the same person.
I
Is
kind
it
of
not?
thought that too. I was like, oh, why'd they call him Flyboy?
I mean, it's not
I think it was an
plagiarism. I'm not
homage.
going to sue him, but it just, sometimes The Unforgiven 2 isn't as good as The Unforgiven. We didn't need a second one. We certainly didn't need an Unforgiven 3, Metallica.
Was there?
Yeah, they did an Unforgiven 3 on one of their later
boy.
records, and we don't need that.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know about that.
We don't need that.
that. Yeah. Sorry for Metallica fans who
Sorry, James.
they like Unforgiven 3, Volume 2.
My favorite.
Saint Anger is my favorite.
Oh my God! You push eject. You push eject. My favorite
No.
Metallica story is when I confronted one of my relatives who loves Metallica about kind of the inane quality of the lyrics on the last couple records. He goes, "Lyrics have always been like that, man. You just weren't listening." I'm like, "No, they were better, and these records suck." But I'm glad you like them.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, good
See,
argument.
I can't.
They've always sucked, so deal with it. Okay, cool. Thanks, bro.
See, I don't mind the Black Album because that's what brought me to them. But then, I mean, I like their older stuff.
Yeah, obviously. I was just kidding when I said I like Saint Anger. I didn't know anything about recording or music in general or anything, but I knew that snare sounded like shit when I heard that. I didn't know anything, but I knew I didn't like the way that sounded.
Yeah, I think my
guess we
kids
can't-
even were like, "What's wrong? Is our speaker broken?"
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we can't at Lars Ulrich.
We could. There's all kinds of
listen
memes
to your
about how he doesn't
podcast.
know how to play the drums.
I don't know.
I don't think the snare sound was his fault.
It's probably some roadie.
No, he wanted it that way, guys. He did that on
Some
purpose,
producer.
and then he bragged about it.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, I remember him being interviewed. Welcome to the Metallica Remedial Film Class episode. I saw an interview with him where he's like, "Yeah, man, I keep taking our masters out and listening to them in my car while I'm driving around. This is heavier than we've ever been."
Ugh.
Dude, no.
Yeah, I like the Black Album. That's like my favorite.
Oh, guys, come on. That's that mainstream nonsense.
Master of Puppets is good.
Ride the Lightning is
love
the
Master
best
Puppets.
one.
Ride the Lightning is good.
I actually kind of like Load and Reload. They're fine. There's some fun stuff on there.
One is actually the song that I started listening to them, but I didn't even realize who they were. I just love that song. And then the Black Album brought me back. I was like, oh, these are the guys. Because MTV used to play One at midnight every night.
It's an awesome video.
Yeah, at Bagger's Ball would play at midnight. You knew it was midnight because One was coming on. And I was like, I like these guys.
Yeah.
Even though I was kind of like scared of the people that wore Metallica shirts and stuff in school.
Really?
I was like, well, they were a little off to me. Because I was like walking around.
Not your speed.
Well, no, I'm walking around looking like Rudy. And these guys looking like...
You're still walking around looking like Rudy.
Okay, I got a lot less hair. And no football jacket. But, yeah. And they would come in from the bathroom smelling like smoke with their jean jacket and the 19 patches. All the, the Slayer patches.
See, those are my people, though. Those are my people.
But then as I got older, I was like, these are the guys.
Yes.
These guys are cool.
Some of us that had a lot of Metallica shirts turned out just fine.
Yeah.
Even if we don't like Day of the Dead.
But your reasons aren't good enough. But you're allowed to because I had a hissy fit last week, so.
I mean, I have no complaints about the direction. I have no complaints about the gore or the blood. The blood looks awesome. It's just something about...
It's a little too red, but pretty good.
Ugh, you could just never be happy.
All of these movies have given me an even greater appreciation for what Nicotero is doing in The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is the best looking zombie
ever.
Period.
Yes.
And the gore is the best, most realistic I've ever seen. And I don't know. I mean, they are just religious about the way all of their zombies look, even if they're extras, even if they're red hats. Like, it doesn't matter. They all look good.
Well, it's because they have a source material and they have a consistency.
And they have a budget.
All the drawings.
Yeah, that sweet AMC money.
Yeah. Yep. But all the drawings in the comics, they drew them, even there's two artists, they're still drawn the same way.
Yeah.
So when you see a Walking Dead zombie, you know what it is from. There's no, is that from some Italian? No, that's in a Walking Dead. The lips, the way the teeth are, the skin, it's all gnarly for a reason. But they have it's almost like brand standards. Like I work in a casino, we have brand standards. Everything that goes out in the mail or on billboards, whatever, all has the same kind of look.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
These movies do not have that.
Mm-mm.
We saw in this movie about 7 different
levels
styles.
Of zombie. Yeah.
Not even levels. Like you can take levels of decay but still have the same style.
Right.
This movie has no consistency.
Yeah. No brand.
Right. It's like, all right, we got 5 artists, everybody just do what you want.
Yeah.
And it didn't it completely showed that way. Like you have Smurfette walking out with the sunk, the I haven't slept in 5 days eyes right next to the guy who looks like, he just came out of an Egyptian tomb and was buried 4,000 years ago. Like it's not consistent.
It did lack conquistadors, though. I would like to have a conquistador or two.
Now in that movie, the zombies, the overly dead zombies had a consistent look, and then the recently dead zombies had a consistent, but it still had consistency.
I love Zombie 2, guys. That might be my favorite one. It's all downhill from Zombie 2, isn't it?
I don't know about that.
No, The Walking Dead is the pinnacle of this.
I think there's a couple movies that we're going to hit that actually take us out of this rut.
What rut? I think we're really just firing on all cylinders.
You got to start somewhere.
This is true.
You know? It's funny. It's funny because like with the last time we did the fall break, it started with like the best, and then it got better, and then it got terrible, and then it got better, and then it like kind of like trailed off into like.
And then you got a remake, which brought you back.
Right. Exactly. And this is kind of like, it's starting off like kind of like
It's finding its way.
I can see it. I can see it developing.
Right.
You know, I can see the potential here. And I'm hoping that it blooms into like this.
Well, you've already seen the end result.
Yeah, but not
so
in
you know
movies.
where it's at least you know where it's going. The only mystery is how bad it's going to get.
No, it's gotten better, I think, each time.
This is true.
So it's interesting.
I just find it funny that I crapped on probably millions and millions of people's favorite last week, and Dan's crapping on at least 1 million people's favorite this week.
I'd say probably more.
And then George crapped on everybody's favorite.
The
3
first
weeks ago,
episode, yeah.
It is interesting that each one of us had one that was like, eh.
Well, I love the original the best, but the things I like about Day are the same things I like about Night, and the things I hated about Dawn. So, at least I'm consistent.
I don't know, man. Night is so like self-important and takes itself so seriously, but also like delivers a certain amount of like impact in a way that it like earns it.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn doesn't ever take itself too seriously, but you still get an emotional connection to your characters, but you have fun, you're playing, things are different. I think, Travis, if you watch the Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead at some point,
I probably would like
you're
it.
going to like it better because he fixes the music. And I think that's the main thing that the attitude of the movie is a little darker and the music is different. And you're just going to be like,
Argento make the decision to remove the guy who danced with an M16 throughout the climax of the movie?
You're just going to have to wait and see, my friend.
Because I had a problem with that. And I'm sure he removed the Sergeant Slaughter music during the crescendo of the movie.
So, I mean, that's interesting that movie exists in so many forms. Like, I actually kind of like the comically goofy, poorly acted extended cut, the cans cut, which I realize is silly, but like, it's fun. It is having fun and it's earning fun.
See, I don't mind silly unless it's done like lazy. I love silly when it's done smart and creatively. I mean, there's a lot of silly movies that don't take themselves seriously.
Well, like
but they're
Day of the Dead,
masterpieces,
right? Silly, didn't take itself too serious. Oh no, it's unsilly and it takes itself too seriously.
I don't think it's silly at all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's not silly and it takes itself seriously, but it doesn't have any emotional punch. Like I don't know, man. It's just it has so much ambition and it executes certain things very well, but it's just missing the heart for me, I guess.
I think this movie would have been much better if the military guys were likable.
Okay, keep going.
If I made this movie, same script,
mm-hmm.
with some changes of the military guys, and you get like a Band of Brothers or like, Private Ryan's group kind of guys where you give a shit about them.
I mean, you put Ted Danson in this movie and I am there.
You don't need a lot of military guys, but you need to experience them as a platoon first.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a flashback, or maybe just show them out in the field dealing with a horde.
Yeah.
Watching the teamwork, watching this and that, maybe seeing some of the tension in the group. Some of the guys don't get along with the other guys. You only need about 15 minutes to really establish this group of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Then when they start losing it and going off the deep end, and then eventually being the cause of the downfall of the fallout shelter, you care.
Yeah.
And you see the downfall of these guys that were at one point a well-oiled machine, and now they're a disgrace.
They've been worn down.
Yeah, they're a disgrace. Mentally, they've been worn down to the point where, they don't trust anybody in their group. These are guys that are supposed to fight to the death with each other.
Yeah. And for each other.
That would have, for each other, I'll fall on the line. What is it? Captain America says, would you lay down on the wire? These guys would lay down on the wire for each other.
Electrified?
No, or fall on a grenade, whatever the analogy
I mean, do
is.
I have to watch all the seasons, or can I just watch like the first season of The Wire?
Of what?
Is that enough? No, I think you're onto
But
something there. And
in the end, when you do that, then you care enough to send the very best, you know. And you can do the same with the doctors. You only need a couple minutes here and there. Just little. Even Alien 3 was able to make. I don't know if you've seen Alien 3. But you were able. They were able to take it's a third version of a Sigourney Weaver character. It's a planet full of prisoners, murderers, rapists, and you give a shit about these prisoners because they just take just enough time to develop the prisoners and the people in charge to where you give a shit when they get picked off. This movie would have been a million times better if they spent that time.
Yeah.
it's like this movie is like the third act of a movie that they never made.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would love to
Like
see, show me the original leader guy and, they're leaving the base, they're working together, they're having success. There's some tension between the civilians and the military, but like the military are good guys. The civilians are good guys. They just have different interests and values. But then show me how they lose their leader guy and show me the other guy step up and be a competent leader and fail and start to lose his grip on control.
Yeah.
And then he can earn the choke on it thing. And I'll care that, oh my God, he's degraded to such a point that he doesn't even care anymore, And they just didn't. And I think that's really, I think you're getting to the root of my problem is I don't care about anybody in this movie. They're all either stereotypical like knockoffs of Dawn of the Dead characters, or they're just, fodder. And I don't like anybody.
Here's an idea. Who survived from Dawn?
Peter and Francine.
How cool would it have been if Bub was Peter?
Would that be that thing that I don't like where it turns out that in the end your two most important characters were cousins the whole time?
No, but I mean, like, you have an established character that you don't have to build a background on. Everybody already knows his military background. They understand. It's kind of like, Ben, the original Nightmare, the original Night of the Living Dead character, Ben. You take that zombie Ben. Let's say he was bit instead of shot. He was bit. You don't know what happened to zombie Ben. You don't know where he went. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He shows up 3 movies later as a captive zombie that they're experimenting on.
How did he get to Florida though?
Well, what I'm saying is you have that establishment.
Yeah,
I know that's an issue. Like, how do you figure that out? But if you take that, then you don't have to spend all this time establishing why this character has that muscle memory, and then you already care about him. So now here you are caring about a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
You feel bad for that zombie. You feel bad. You know his background. You know how hard he fought.
Yes.
And now he's a zombie.
Yes.
So if they did that with Peter, or even if they, like you said, and I said, establish the platoon, and Bub is one of those guys that you established earlier in the movie, but now it's like a 2-year time jump, and he's the zombie that they're getting to assimilate, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got the
care about
leader. You've got dead leader guy. You get dead leader guy. You make him Bub, and now you've got this feeling of like certain people don't think they should be keeping him as a pet, but they disagree with the people who do have him because look at the progress we're making. We're getting back to our old Colonel what's his butt. There's a conflict there without it being like a shouting conflict. It can be philosophical.
And maybe Rhodes is the reason why the leader was killed.
Yeah.
Or bit.
Yeah.
So now there's that tension. All the guys hate him because their leader's fallen, because there's so many things they could have done within, little bits.
Yeah.
And that's where I get angry, because I'm like, if I can write a better movie than these guys in 5 minutes, then they just didn't do the work.
Well, I mean, in the end, what they chose to do was just none of those things. Absolutely none of them. They just screamed and ripped the people apart, and that'll be good enough because gore sells. And it does, and
Right.
it did, and I bought this movie again. Here we are.
And now it's on our podcast.
But it's important.
It is.
Greg Nicotero is very important.
He's very important.
Although I prefer his work in Jason Goes to Hell. I don't actually, I guess, but
I
that one,
prefer
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say I don't know
forget
about that.
Yeah.
there's some good
Well,
stuff.
what's great about him is
If you ask Greg Nicotero about his work in Jason Goes to Hell, he goes, "What movie?" And he's like,
no, I'm sure he's very proud of it. Didn't you say that he
kept
he has
some,
one of his props
yeah,
still
he
as
kept some
furniture in his
stuff.
house?
Yeah.
What I love most about Greg Nicotero is that he's the director of the show as well. So he's taking not just the knowledge that he learned from Savini, but he's taking the knowledge he learned from Romero and Savini, and he's applying it to the 9 or 10, 15 more years of influence he had before he was able to direct this show. I mean, the fact that he's not just the artistic director, he's the director. So he's able to deal with actors, he's dealing with emotion, he's done it himself. Not so much in this movie. He's not doing much acting in this movie. But
I mean, he
Johnson.
squibbed up real nice.
yeah.
Who's Johnson? Which character was Johnson?
He was the quietest blonde with the beard. He really didn't say much at all, but he was bit on the neck when they were in the quarry.
Is he?
Or
No,
wherever.
I think he's the
Oh
one
my
that gets
God, that
shot
was
by the
Nicotero?
bit on the neck guy. Because they look
Oh, is that what
almost the
happens?
same. I watched it twice because I
Yeah.
was like, hold on, I thought he got bit, but now
Yes.
he's getting shot. And it's because they both
got
have
shot,
blonde
you're right.
hair and beards.
And a beard.
So it's like they're twins.
I have to go back and watch it again.
No.
He's the one not laughing like a witch. And then the other guy was laughing like a witch. And then the John Goodman guy.
Yeah. I have to
two
go back and
blonde-
watch it
yeah.
again because I know what Greg Nicotero looks like. I've seen him like, I don't know, a dozen times on
Mhm.
Talking Dead, but like
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize him.
You'll recognize him now that you know you're
I will
looking
now,
for
yeah.
him.
Mm-hmm.
I was real happy in the opening credits to see the name Tasso Stavrakis, who
I saw that.
was in Friday the 13th's makeup department as well. So you've got a lot of the band getting back together from the first Friday.
Nice. I was surprised Savini wasn't in this movie. I guess because he was the motorcycle guy. They didn't want to.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. But he's kind of like Bruce Campbell, where he has to be in, every Sam Raimi movie, no matter what, even though there's no continuity. It's
Even
like,
there's no
wait,
guy,
you were just a villain that got killed in that movie, and now you're a doorman. Like, I just don't.
He's amazing.
I love Bruce Campbell. More in real life than in the movies.
Have you ever seen
What else?
Maniac Cop?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounds like a great one.
Oh, man. Season 4. What's up?
Spring Break too.
Oh, man. This weekend, we watched a recent John Oliver. You guys watch John Oliver?
The TV show?
Yeah, on HBO.
On HBO? I met John Oliver.
Is he amazing? He seems amazing.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
I don't watch any TV, so.
So he introduced me to a show that I never knew existed. Oh, my God. Called Cop Rock. Have you guys ever seen Cop Rock?
No.
Oh, wait. Yeah. I've seen that.
It's a police show from the early 90s, and it's produced by Stephen Bochco, who did like Hill Street Blues and NYPD Blue, but in between, he made a cop show where it's also like a Broadway musical.
Yep.
Oh my God, guys.
It's bad.
It's the worst thing I've ever seen, and I just need to tell the whole world to watch it. Thank you, John Oliver, for bringing that to my attention. Oh my God, guys. I've watched it every day since I heard about it because I can't believe it's real. I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and it's a dream. I'm going to tell everybody, hey, I had this dream. There was a cop show, but there was a guy and he was singing about being a baby merchant. Oh my God, guys. I'll send you some clips after the show.
Baby merchant.
Or like the song, He's Guilty. Or Bumpty Bumpty, guys. Bumpty Bumpty. They made this show in
Travis
real life.
is checking his texts.
I just read your text. What the fuck are mummers?
Yeah, what is a mummer? I don't know. Do I have to bleep that? Is that like a racial thing?
No.
No.
It's a Philadelphia thing.
Do you remember when what's his name?
Oh shit.
Kelsey. Not Travis Kelsey.
Yeah, Travis Kelsey. No,
his brother.
Bob.
John Kelsey.
John
no.
Kelsey.
No.
That
the
other
hell's his
football
name?
player guy. Yeah, the brother of Travis Kelsey. The less talented Kelsey brother. Yes, sir.
No, he's not less
Not
talented.
less
He's
talented.
a fantastic center.
Yeah.
So Dan's gonna bleep the word mummers. That's hilarious.
Holy crap. Jason Kelsey.
Jason?
Yeah, it's
Is
Jason
it
Kelce.
Tommy Jason Kelsey?
Tommy Jason Kelsey, yeah. Remember how he was dressed when he delivered his speech
Yeah.
on the art museum steps? He was dressed as a mummer.
What is
What's
a
a mummer?
mummer?
It's kind of like you see him on down in Mardi Gras sometimes, just very flamboyantly dressed,
It's the
overly feathered
yes. So in
string band.
in Philadelphia, there is a
New Year's parade.
New Year's parade where grown men dress up in costumes,
Musicians.
and they're usually grown men and women. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there are women in there.
Are there?
Yeah.
They dress up with sequins and feathers. They play instruments.
And they have a theme usually. like some
Yep.
kind of a
They
theme.
do a choreographed dance. There's like different sects of mummers, right? So there's like the aqua string band, and there's like the something string
The
band, and there's like the
horns,
what you call it string band, and they all
saxophones.
compete to see who has the best, most wonderful choreography and music, and I don't know, mummerness.
Right, but it's not hip hop. It's string band.
It's string band music, and they just like they march and they dance and they do like their thing, and then it's like
It's
whole
a
day
high school
thing.
band on crack.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like it's
And then they have-
marching band meets Mardi Gras,
Mardi Gras,
on
yeah.
New Year's Day in Philadelphia.
Drunk.
It's
And
actually kind of great.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't aware that other people don't know about it.
Yeah.
Oh, mummers. Yeah, they're like so iconic here. But
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, just look it up. Fancy Brigades.
No.
No?
Oh.
Nah.
Seriously? Just
It's-
just
it's very-
look
it's-
up one
it's-
YouTube video.
It's very
Seriously.
It's pretty sweet. But it's localized icons.
Yeah.
I think I might just
It's
watch
kinda
more
like Rocky.
Cop Rock.
It's way better than Cop Rock.
I don't know, man.
It's like
Wow, look at these costumes.
he's looking it up.
Hey, there's some stormtrooper mummers.
Oh yeah.
Dude, they have different themes.
It's ridiculous. It's something you might want to check out this New Year's.
I don't. Parades don't do it for me.
It's not a parade like,
Eh.
hey, check out my fire engine. It's
Meh.
it's like theatrical. It's a million times better than Dawn of the Dead because it at least has a point.
I don't know, does it?
And there's
have a
no
point?
zombies looking in a barrel of an M16
I think the-
dancing with it,
I think the best part of the mummers parade is the drinking afterwards.
drinking.
Looks like there's some
Yeah.
drinking going on beforehand too. If these pictures
Oh,
are
definitely.
yeah.
Beforehand,
They're
during,
definitely tailgating
and
that
after.
shit.
Yes.
If you're under 4, you're still drinking.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
like Bills fans level of, you know.
Yeah. There's a reason why Santa Claus got pelted with snowballs. They were all
Yes.
mummers in the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
thoughts and prayers
Yep.
for all the plastic and wooden tables at that parade.
Yes.
Yep.
Lots of tables
Mhm.
smashing.
Yep.
Oh,
It's
jeez.
definitely wow, we just had a a mummers remedial film class.
Hey,
podcast.
listen, we delve into all kinds of important,
we covered all.
subject matter.
We're
here.
just well-rounded individuals. That's all.
That's right.
Hey, so one thing I wanted to take a quick poll of the group with regards to Day of the Dead. Travis, you mentioned that you'd never seen it all the way through until today.
Oh, yeah, last night.
Okay. George, you just watched it today.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it in high school, which would have been like, 2003-ish.
Okay.
Here's one thing I'll bring up with the way that we look at this movie. We all watched it after 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
After Desert Storm, after the Yellow Ribbons, after 9/11, after
Right.
Black Hawk Down, and all these feeling better about ourselves kind of media things. This movie came out 10 years after Vietnam and before
Mhm.
Panama.
Mm-hmm.
So I think our perspective may have been shifted such that we want more out of these Army guys, where an audience of us in 85 might have been like, yeah, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. So I think we need to recognize that.
I agree with that, but I think we also had this conversation when it came to maybe not military, but police. And we actually talked about it during the First Blood movie, how buffooned the how lampooned the National Guard was.
Yeah.
Like, they turned them into complete and total idiots. And Rambo represented the military that we are basically getting in this movie. You know, he comes home, he's seen as a baby killer, he's seen as a terrible person, spit on him, don't welcome him home, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's one end of it, and then the National Guard is the other end of it. So we don't like what they did, so let's turn them into clowns. I don't know. I didn't even think of any of that while watching this movie. I just thought that they could have been done with more depth.
But I
That's
wonder
all.
if there's
wasn't
just
really-
not room for depth in the thinking in '85.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
in the
I agree with
audience,
that,
or at least
'cause
in the in this small camp making this movie.
It was the same thing with RoboCop.
I love RoboCop.
You know,
That movie's perfect.
but it's the same thing. You look at the cops, you look at how militarized they are, and they basically are just guys in a suit. They're just a number. You experience that in Starship Troopers. Like, there's a lot of movies. Aliens kind of takes the opposite route. They're all a bunch of guys, bunch of jarheads, quote unquote jarheads. You're not supposed to care about, but they're all great characters and they're all well written, so that you do care about them. And it didn't take long to do that, to get you to like every single character in that movie. This movie does the opposite. You don't care about anybody, and that's where I agree with Dan. I don't care about any of them. Not one.
Except for Sarah.
I really didn't even connect with her.
Does she earn it? I don't know that she
I don't
does.
know.
I think so.
Again, this movie would have been perfect if Bub had a Leatherface type ending where he's walking off into the sunset. Because he was the only one I cared about.
That would have
Doctor,
been kind of fun,
little bit.
actually. Yeah, just do an homage to Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. He doesn't have to be dancing. Maybe he kind of stands there with the sun in front of him, puts the headphones on.
They should take him.
Starts walking.
They should take him with them to the island, and he's like their butler.
Yeah. I mean, they pay homage to that in Shaun of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So why not have Bub be part of the family?
I mean, he's basically human.
Well, he didn't have the connection with them. That's why. He
I
had
know,
the
I'm just
connection with the
kidding.
doctor.
I'm just kidding.
But I mean,
that
that-
would be a terrible thing to do.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that would have made it any better
Bub
or
served
worse.
his purpose. His purpose was to, take out.
And I think with him following Rhodes and shooting him on purpose
Mm-hmm.
was a little less characteristic. I think he should have been maybe shot once or twice by accident, because Bub was just kind of getting those muscle memories of pulling the trigger, but actually having him aim at him and fire didn't seem right.
I liked it.
But it still didn't bother me as much as the guy with the M16. So
Yeah.
Well, on that wonderful, redundant, incorrect stance about the M16, let's tell George what we're doing next.
Okay. Sunday. You paid for the whole seat, but you only need the edge. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
So, all the great and campy and fun and gore that we've experienced, we're going to do it one more time.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess
In Afternoon of the Dead,
no.
Evening
Better.
of the Dead.
Brunch with the Dead. No, it's called Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
What was it, 87?
85, same year, man.
85. Oh, same year.
Couple of months
Okay.
later. So you get an alternate, you get 1985B as far as the
Yeah.
timelines go.
Is this also a Romero film?
We're not going to tell you anything.
It's actually a sequel to Gone with the Wind, but,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah, it's
Is it 4 hours
it's
long?
Return of the Jedi
No.
Part 2.
It's a J.J. Abrams film.
We will tell you nothing, sir.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you anything.
So you
Okay.
got to watch it, and then we'll talk about it. And then I think we will do that and record it.
Yeah.
We should probably do that.
We should do that.
Thank you for joining us on the Remedial Film Class podcast. As always, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Remedial Film Pod. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/remedialfilmpod. And now you can find old catalog episodes on YouTube with some visual enhancement here and there. We'll be back next time with Return of the Living Dead. I think George is in for a treat.